kami mengabdi bagimu negeri, jiwa raga kami.
Hadirnya UT memastikan bahwa setiap warga bangsa berhak atas pendidikan tinggi di bawah kekuatan hukum tanpa adanya perbedaan. Lebih dari 2 juta lulusan berhasil menyelesaikan studi di universitas terbuka. Kami bangga, sudah 4 dasawarsa UT menghadirkan pendidikan berkualitas tanpa batas.
UT selalu berfokus ke masa depan dengan tetap berpijak pada nilai-nilai dan budaya adiluhung Nusantara. Digitalisasi layanan pendidikan mempermudah masyarakat dan mahasiswa mendapatkan informasi mengenai UT. Selain tercetak, bahan ajar juga diberikan dalam bentuk digital guna memudahkan mobilitas mahasiswa. Dengan demikian, belajar bisa dilakukan di mana saja, kapan saja, dan bersama siapa saja. Digitalisasi pendidikan juga diformulasikan ke dalam loka pasar digital mata kuliah yang ditawarkan oleh Indonesia Cyber Education. Beragam mata kuliah dari perguruan tinggi terkemuka di tanah air dan mancanegara ditawarkan secara online. Perpustakaan UT sebagai salah satu unit vital di perguruan tinggi menawarkan fasilitas digital yang memungkinkan mahasiswa, dosen, tenaga kependidikan, bahkan masyarakat umum untuk mengakses sumber pustaka secara lebih leluasa. Beragam layanan yang diberikan memastikan student engagement dapat dilaksanakan dengan better, cheaper, and faster. UT pada tahun ini mengedepankan internasionalisasi program sebagai upaya menyejajarkan UT dengan perguruan tinggi jarak jauh berkualitas di dunia. Selain menawarkan program internasional, akreditasi internasional pun dilakukan. International Trust yang tinggi akan meningkatkan kredibilitas UT dan lulusannya. Public trust terhadap UT ditandai dengan terus meningkatnya jumlah mahasiswa UT dari tahun ke tahun.
Semoga keluar dari sini makin berkah hidupnya, apa yang diinginkan tercapai, dan yang pasti ilmunya bisa bermanfaat buat semuanya.
Tidak saja jumlahnya yang meningkat, komposisi mahasiswa pada saat ini didominasi oleh generasi milenial dan Gen Z. Untuk menjaga kualitas akademik, UT melibatkan BAN PT, Lembaga Akreditasi Mandiri, dan International Accreditation Bodies. Bahkan UT satu-satunya perguruan tinggi jarak jauh di Asia yang secara sukarela dan berkala mengundang ICDE untuk mereview semua layanan di UT. Kita ingin memastikan bahwa layanan yang diberikan telah memenuhi kaidah-kaidah dan standar kualitas yang diberikan oleh perguruan tinggi jarak jauh terkemuka di dunia. Pada tahun ini, jumlah program studi yang ditawarkan berjumlah 47 yang dikelola 4 fakultas dan sekolah pasca sarjana. kantor UT daerah yang tersebar di seluruh wilayah Indonesia dan di luar negeri, memastikan layanan pendidikan dapat dinikmati oleh semua tanpa terkecuali, termasuk mereka yang tinggal di wilayah terpencil, terluar, dan tertinggal, serta di luar negeri.
Mungkin harus menunggu puluhan tahun atau ratusan tahun untuk membangun kampus di tempat ini. Puji Tuhan, dengan adanya UT, saya bisa kuliah meskipun saya tinggal di tempat yang amat terpencil seperti ini.
Tanah airku tidak kulupakan, kan terkenang selama hidupku. Biarpun saya pergi jauh, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu.
Meskipun saya TKI di Hong Kong, saya tetap bisa kuliah di UT. Setelah jadi sarjana, saya akan pulang dan menjadi entrepreneur yang tangguh.
Meskipun kaki ini jauh melangkah hingga kutub utara, saya tetap memilih belajar di kampus tercinta Universitas Terbuka.
UT menyalawi.
Dengan semangat 4 dasawarsa, UT hadirkan pendidikan berkualitas tanpa batas.
Engkau ku banggakan.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second International Student Conference on Economics and Business Excellence, ISCEBE, conducted by Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Terbuka, Indonesia. My name is Hurian Kamela, and it's great honor for me to be here with all of you today this prestigious event. Ladies and gentlemen, this seminar is conducted live in online mode on the Zoom meeting and FEB TV YouTube channel. We are delighted to have all of you today, whether virtually attending here in Zoom meeting or watching through the FEB TV YouTube channel. Our theme today is Building a Resilient Future, Green Economy, Business, and Policy Innovations. Together, we will explore how to develop a future green economy, business, and policy innovations. First, we would like to extend our warmest welcome to the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Meirani Harsasi, SE, MS. To the Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Riana Kurnia Endah Riana, SE, MCom. To the Vice Dean of Finance, Resources, and General Affairs, Mrs. Yeni Widyastuti, SE, MSI. To the Vice Dean of Student Affairs, Service and Corporations, Mrs. Olivia Idrus, SE, MSc. To all of the lecturers and academic staff of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Terbuka. To our incredible speaker today, Professor Zulnaidi Yaakob from University Sains Malaysia, Mr. Sitsun Trayut, PhD from ICO and IDA, International College, Thailand, and Dr. Faizul Mubarak, MM from Universitas Terbuka. To to our moderator, Dr. Indar Fauziah Ulfa, SEI MA from Universitas Terbuka. To all of participants of international seminar and our amazing students of Universitas Terbuka who are joining us in the Zoom meeting and FEB YouTube channel. Before we begin our seminar today, we would like to remind all of you to mute your microphones during the seminar session and actively engage in the Q&A session later. As we begin our seminar today, we would like to invite all of you to stay in ready position in front of your camera as we are going to sing Indonesian National Anthem Indonesia Raya and followed by Hymne of Universitas Terbuka. Hadirin dimohon bersikap sempurna karena kita akan menyaksikan lagu Indonesia Raya dan diikuti oleh Hymne Universitas Terbuka. Hadirin, kami persilahkan.
Semoga tercapai
Thank you. Please remain back to your seat. Next, to our agenda today, we would like to invite the Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kurnia Endariana, SAMCOM, to deliver the opening remarks. To Dr. Riana, the room is yours.
Thank you, Mila. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable speakers, Professor Zulnaidi Yaakob from University Science Malaysia, Dr. Sid Suntrayut from ICU NIDA Thailand, and Dr. Faizul Mubarak from Universitas Terbuka. Ladies and gentlemen, respected lecturer of the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Terbuka, esteemed members of the organizing committee, and participants from universities across Indonesia and around the world. A very warm welcome to all of you. Let us begin with giving thanks to the Almighty for allowing us to gather today at this exciting and momentous occasion, the second International Students' Conference on Economics and Business Excellence, proudly hosted by the Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Terbuka. This conference is more than just an annual tradition. It is a reflection of our commitment to nurturing dynamic academic environment, one that encourages curiosity, spark innovation, and connect young scholars across nations. ESCEBE is a space where bright minds meet, ideas take flight, and collaboration knows no border. And this year, the enthusiasm has been truly inspiring. Over 100 students signed up to the part of this experience. And after rigorous selection process, 266 outstanding students earned the opportunity to present their research and ideas on this international stage. That's something worth celebrating. We are also deep honored to be joined by our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Zulnaidi Yaakob, Dr. Sid Suntrayut, and Dr. Faizul Mubarak. Thank you for being with us. Your knowledge, insight, and global perspective will inspire and enrich our discussion. To the incredible organizing team, especially Mrs. Rini Subakti, chairperson of the committee, thank you for your dedication and effort that made this day possible. To all participants, I invite you to make the most of this opportunity. Don't just present, but connect, question, and engage. Step out from your comfort zone. Explore new ideas, build friendship, and go beyond this conference. Let this seminar be a turning point in your academic journey, a moment where your voice is heard, your confidence grows, and your passion for learning deepens. Let us make this conference not just smooth and successful, but also memorable. Thank you, and let's begin this exciting conference together. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you Dr. Riana for your inspiring opening speech. Bapak, Ibu, teman-teman partisipan, setelah sesi seminar, silakan tetap mengikuti sesi paralel yang akan dimulai pukul 12.45. Memilih breakout room, bergabung ke ruangan yang sesuai dan telah diinformasikan oleh panitia. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue to the main agenda, we would like to invite you to turn on your camera as we are going to take the pictures to save this moment. To our committees, maybe can assist to take the pictures, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on the count of 3, please show your smiling face in front of your camera. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to the main agenda panel session, moderated by Dr. Indar Fauziah Ulfah, SEIMA from Universitas Terbuka. Before that, we would like to introduce our moderator, Dr. Indar. Dr. Indar is a lecturer from Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Terbuka. The author is active in Sharia economy. In addition, the author actively participates in training and certification. The author also has scientific publications. Dr. Indar is an academic in education, research, and public service. Without further ado, please welcome to Dr. Indar. The room is yours.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction, Miss Mela. Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Mairani Harsasi, SEMSI. Dr. Kurnia Endah Riana, SEMCom, as Vice Dean for Academic Affairs. Mrs. Yeni Widyastuti, SEMSE, as Vice Dean for Finance, Resources, and General Affairs. Mrs. Olivia Idrus, SEMSE, as Vice Dean for Student Affairs, Services, and Cooperation. Ms. Rini Subakti, SEMSE, as Head of the Organizing Committee, and all the committee's members. Also, our incredible speakers, Associate Professor Dr. Zunaidi Yaakob, PhD, from University Sains Malaysia. Mr. Sid Sundrayut, PhD, from ICO and IDA, International College, Thailand. And Dr. Faizul Mubarak, MM, from Universitas Terbuka. Thank you very much for being with us and for your willingness to share your insight with us today. Welcome to Indonesia as well as sir. I'm Indar Fauziah Ulfa, a lecturer in Sharia Economics at Universitas Terbuka. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to serve as the moderator for this international seminar. And for all the participants, thank you for joining us today on Zoom and YouTube Live. We're excited to have you with us for this special session. We hope you're comfortable and ready for a great seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's inspiring seminar, the Second International Student Conference on Economics and Business Excellence, Iscebe 2025. Today's discussion is Building a Resilient Future, Green Economy, Business, and Policy Innovations. As your moderator, I am delighted to guide this session with you all to explore how green economy models and policy innovations can shape a more sustainable and resilient global future. We will explore new perspectives, crafting new ideas, and collaborate for a better future. In the face of climate change, economic uncertainty, and global disruptions, this seminar aims to deepen our understanding of the green economy, highlight innovative and sustainable business practices, encourage policy dialogue for a low-carbon future, foster international student collaboration, and provide a platform for sharing research and ideas that contribute to building a resilient and sustainable global economy. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our main panel session, allow me to briefly explain how today's seminar will proceed. We will have a panel discussion featuring several distinguished speakers, each of whom will deliver a presentation on their respective perspective and areas of expertise related to our theme. Each speaker will be given approximately 30 minutes to present. After all presentations are completed, we will proceed to a Q&A session, during which you are welcome to raise questions or comments in chat room or YouTube Live. We kindly ask all participants to remain attentive and to note any questions you may have for the discussion segment. Ladies and gentlemen, first I'd like to read a brief introduction to our first speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Zulnaidi Yaakob, PhD from University Sains Malaysia. Kindly please committee help to show the CV. Okay. It is with great honor that we introduce Associate Professor Dr. Zulnaidi Yaakob, a distinguished scholar and dynamic researcher in the fields of management accounting, entrepreneurship, and small and medium enterprises. His commitment to advancing knowledge is paralleled by his active engagement in promoting entrepreneurship through research, consultation, training, mentoring, and community service initiatives. Prof. Zul has served a dedicated lecturer in the Open Distance Learning program since 2008, specializing in accounting and finance. He is currently entrusted with the role of Dean at the School of Distance Education, University Sains Malaysia. His academic journey is marked by the attainment of a Doctor of Philosophy from University Utara Malaysia in 2008, and further professional development as international institution, including Swansea University, the University of California, Berkeley, and the University of Adelaide. In his previous administrative roles as director of the USM Entrepreneurship Center and deputy dean of the School of Distance Education, Dr. Yaakob played a pivotal role in positioning USM as Malaysia's most entrepreneurial university, a title awarded by the Ministry of Higher Education. His academic and leadership excellence has been recognized through numerous prestigious awards, including the Excellent Educator Award, the Best Paper Award, Best Reviewer, Excellent Service Award, and the Entrepreneurship Mentor Award. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. Yaakob with us to deliver his presentation entitled The Future of SMEs, Challenges and Resilience in the Green Economy Era. Let us extend our warmest welcome to Associate Professor Dr. Zulnaidi Yaakob. Without further ado, we invite our first speaker to share his insight. Prof. Zul, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning to all the participants of the Second International Student Conference on Economic and Business Excellence. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to all the participants of the Second International Student Conference on Economics and Business Excellence. First, I would like to thank the chairperson, Madam Indah Fauzia Ufa, for introducing me. I'm awaiting for my slide before I continue with my presentation. Okay. Second, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to join this great student conference. And today, I would like to take this opportunity to share my perspective in terms of small media enterprise in regarding the challenges and resilience in the green economy era. We all know the importance of small media enterprise, not only in Indonesia, but also other parts of the world. So today, I'm going to talk about something that is not only critical to the economic development of a nation, but also something that very close to us every day. This is because we have a very close association with small media enterprise. We may become their customer, consumer, or maybe member of our families working under SME or small media enterprise. And we also ourselves may involve in business, small business, by having, selling things on internet and so on. In other words, small media enterprise is not about other people, it's not about other institution, but small media enterprise is something about institution or organization that are very close to our daily life. So the performance, the future, the challenges, and the issues surrounding small media enterprise is really something that's significant for us to know and to understand how this sector would play important role in terms of green economy era. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the challenges and opportunity of small media enterprise in the green economy. To be succeed in green economy, it is not only the responsibility of the government, it is not only the responsibility of the people, and also it is not only the responsibility of the researcher. Small media enterprise as majority economy sector in a country including Indonesia, Malaysia, and other parts of the world play important role how they can contribute into green economy agenda. However, we have to know that small media enterprise, they have their own challenges on how to contribute to this green economy. In addition to the challenges, we have to acknowledge there is a lot of opportunities for SME to play their role. So we're going to discuss in this presentation the challenges and also the opportunity. How SME can play their role significantly and effectively in fostering the agenda of green economy. Next, I would like to discuss about SME contribution towards economy. On the screen, you can see the contribution of SME towards GDP and employment. At global level, almost 70% of employment are contributed by small media enterprise. In Asia, it is more than 60%, and even in Indonesia, it is more than 90%. Based on this statistic, we can conclude that SME has contributed a major role in terms of economic development and also employment opportunity for the people. What does it mean by this statistic to the green economy? As a major contributor to the GDP of a nation, whatever business activities, processes, and output from this business would directly contribute to the environmental issues. Therefore, if small media enterprise are able to effectively or efficiently introduce, institutionalize, embrace, and also contribute to the green economy, then the impact, the huge to the agenda would be very significant. The same goes to the employment. Since majority or a very high percentage of employees actually working in this era, in this type of companies or in this business sector, we can conclude that if all this of employee actually practicing green economy, they actually indirectly or directly contribute to the better performance or achievement in terms of green economy. Based on this screen, you can see that there is a high contribution of SME activities towards economic impact. For example, in terms of carbon emission, there is a significant number, more than 60% at global level, more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in Indonesia. How SME has contributed to carbon emission. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, or if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon emission. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon emission. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more than 60% at global level, doing more than 50% at Asia Pacific region, and more than 40% in the same way how they operate now. How SME has contributed to carbon. For example, in terms of carbon emission, if we do there is a significant number, if more more than 50% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, we have the number of more than 60% by Iscebe. We had more than 50% from Asia, Jakarta, and more than 40% in the United now. How has contributed to this. For example, The income monthly their life, perhaps in a plan. They are the income monthly their life and to perhaps in to plan. They are based on our discussion before this, and to perhaps the contributions of SME towards green economy can be improved through innovation. As I discussed, most of the small media enterprise, they start small, and the entrepreneurs behind this small enterprise are young people who are very innovative. So through their innovation in process and also product, they are able to contribute to green economy through through new process, new way of doing things, and also new product. However, in order for small medium enterprise to contribute to green economy, another issue that they have to look is resource efficiency. As we know that small medium enterprise, they have limited funding, therefore their funding or most of their capital actually focus to the product development and also generating revenue. Therefore, they need to be able to manage their resource efficiency before they can put aside some of their funding perhaps to contribute directly to green economy. Green economy is also about environmental protection. Therefore, small medium enterprise should relook and revisit the business processes to make sure there is no negative impacts towards environmental. For example, small medium enterprise perhaps would review how much plastic, single-use plastic they use in their business every day. How dangerous or how negative the impact of their business processes to environmental. In order to support the green economic inclusive growth must be in place. In other words, the business growth should not only look at from financial perspective in terms of how many percent of customer has improved from one year to the another year, how many new product has been improved from another year to the another year, but also how efficient or how effective a particular small media enterprise contributing towards green economy through the through the revisit or through the re-engineering of the business process. When we are talking about inclusive growth and green economy, we are talking about the growth of a business must not only related to business performance but also related to the impact of the business. For example, providing more access to the jobs and also reduce inequality, empowering marginal groups, and also regional balance between urban and rural. So by having inclusive growth, actually business directly contribute to the green economy in terms of resource efficiency, low carbon, circular economy, using green technology, renewable technology, and how do we promote and how do business involve in community-led eco-initiative. In order to do this, the small medium enterprise should focus on things like providing jobs to more people, inclusive group, taking into consideration a woman, taking into consideration under developed group or underdeveloped area, and also the government should provide more access to the small media enterprise in terms of green innovation by providing, for example, in terms of policy, by providing innovation or technology at a cheaper price. When we talk about contribution of small media enterprise to green economy, we also need to check how business activities of small media enterprise actually are related to ESG, environmental, social, and governance. For example, in terms of finance, how does a small media enterprise actually plan their finance in terms of environmental, social, and governance? For example, how much small media enterprise invest in technology that related to reduce waste management and also supporting a better energy use. In terms of social, small media enterprise should pay attention to the worker safety and also labor rights, and also look at the compliance with regulation and audit control. Each element or operation of a business, finance, marketing, supply chain, HR, human resource, or product or service development, all must be mapped with ESG, environmental social governance, to maximize the contribution of small media enterprise to the green economy or environmental social governance. Again, there is challenges for small media enterprise in adopting green practices. High cost, limited awareness, regulatory complexity, financial constraint. SME, there is a very diverse SME in terms of their capacity and capability, also in terms of their resources, finance resources, and also non-finance resources. They may have limited budget to recruit or to buy high technology or latest technology. They may choose to remain in old technology or outdated technology because of the funding or because of the high requirement in terms of funding and investment. They may also have limited skill, limited knowledge, and limited capacity from the perspective of employee, because some small media enterprise, they are not able to pay high salary for their employee. So with the amount of the salary that they can offer to the marketplace, then perhaps they are not able to recruit the best employee into their business. However, again, when we discuss about small media enterprise, we have to understand there is a huge difference between small media enterprise at the high end to the low end. For the high end, they may be operating in the environment where the technology is really good, the employee is really creative, innovative, because young people, they receive support from the government through grant and so on. But there are a lot of small media enterprise, for example, in rural area or even in the city, they are operating in informal business. They do not have access to the financial system. They do not have a proper record. They do not receive enough or adequate support from the government. So this all create challenge for small media enterprise in adopting and indirectly contributing to green practices. But no worries. Excuse. But no worries. There are still options for small media enterprise how they can contribute to green economy at low cost. So they will be able to pay more attention to the options that are available for them on how they can contribute to the green economy at a lower cost. For example, using energy efficiency, install LED throughout in their business premises. Save in terms of water use, reduce waste by perhaps using recycled product or minimize waste. And also, establish their institutions as a learning organization where they provide access to their employee to sustainability resources to equip their employees in terms of knowledge and skill for them to understand what is sustainability all about, what is green economy all about, and how organization can directly or indirectly contribute to the green economy. Under current situation, most of the country talking about green economy. They put some requirement, they put regulation for the business. If we would like to export our product to their country, for example, we must follow green practices. This actually put pressure for small media enterprise to practice green business if they would like to go global. In order for small media enterprise to be successful as an important player in green practices, there are few critical success factors. For example, leader of a small media enterprise, the manager, the business owner, the top management must be a supporter of green practices. Leader only is not enough because in order to achieve the green economy target or objective, all people in small media enterprise should work together. Therefore, in addition to leadership commitment, employee must be engaged for them to understand, to directly contribute, to promote, to give ideas, to support, and to acknowledge, to appreciate any processes, any activity that contribute to green economy. Therefore, in order for a small media enterprise to actively contribute to green economy, the process of monitoring and evaluation must be in place. Not only planning, when you plan, you execute, make sure there is a process of monitoring and evaluation. In all this, we must remember, in order to achieve the target of green practices, the objective must be clear. In other words, the agenda must be communicated to all people in an organization, from the top to the bottom of the company. In implementing green practices is at SME, the framework that can be used perhaps by creating awareness, by understanding issues, what is the barriers and the challenges, for example, that has been discussed in this presentation, creating resources that needs to support the practices, and also to provide support system in terms of partnership, working with other department, working with the organization, working with the government, and also supporting infrastructure to support the practice of green practices. For example, technology must be there, must be available in the market. So what is the step for SME to embark into green practices? This is the general step that can be practiced by SME. For example, learn first. If you do not learn, you are not able to understand the key concept. If you do not understand, it's very difficult for you to practice. After the learning is a continuous process, but after you understand the basic, then you do some assessment into the current practice in small business enterprise. Is there any practices that need to improve? What type of element of the business that can be improved or need to be improved? Based on this, then the manager set a goal. What are the another elements of the business that need to be improved? Then let the find opportunity on how it can be improved.
Pardon, Prof. If we have 5 times, 5 minutes more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. There are standards, for example, for small media enterprise in practicing green businesses that can be used by small media enterprise in evaluating their current practices and also as a benchmark for them to improve their green practices. In terms of resilience of small media enterprise, again, we are talking about resource efficiency, risk management, product innovation, and adaptive capacity. These are the areas that perhaps small media enterprise should focus. For example, do analysis in terms of their current practice, find ways where and how they can improve, continuous learning, be flexible, and by contributing to the green products. Look at the elements of your product, which part of your product can be converted into green product. Maybe in terms of content, maybe in terms of packaging, maybe in terms of marketing promotion that you use. So what is the future support that needed by small media enterprise? They need inclusive innovations ecosystem. In other words, we cannot allow SME to work alone as in contributing to green economy, but the big company, the government, the research and development institute must together in this innovative ecosystem in order for small media enterprise to be able to contribute to green economy. There must be a policy in place, either at the government level or regional level, either at Indonesia, Malaysia country, Malaysia government, or also ASEAN countries. There must be a partnership between private and public in order to support the development or contributing of SME towards green economy. So there are few recommendations that we can propose in order to see more contribution and more participation from SME in green economy. We need to create more cluster that are innovative. We can use SDG to measure SME impact. We can promote ESG among SME, or we can provide special funding to SME based on their performance in ESG. We can also upskill workforce or human resources in green competency so that they can support or they can give or they can play active role in their company or small media enterprise towards green economy. As a conclusion, small media enterprise is here. They are part of our daily life. We may become their customer, consumer, or employee. So they are important to the economic performance. They play a major role, contributing very huge percentage to the GDP and also employment market. So we need to help small media enterprise into providing collaboration and also support to small media enterprise so that they can contribute more effectively toward green economy, not only at local level, but also to the global level. With this, we need to empower SME and also become supporter, not only to us, but also support SME to become active player in green economy. For example, now, perhaps you spend more budget by buying green product produced by SME. With this, I thank all of you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Zulnedi Yaakob, PhD, for your comprehensive and thought-provoking presentation. Your insights have greatly enriched our understanding of the challenges of resilience of SMEs in the context of the green economy and strategic role of SMEs in rural and community development. Also strategic roles of SMEs as link in a global value chain. And of course, the collaboration is essential. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed to the next speakers, we kindly remind all participants to please turn on your cameras if possible. This helps us create a more engaging and interactive atmosphere during our session. Thank you for your cooperation. Izinkan saya menggunakan bahasa. Mohon maaf kepada peserta untuk bisa menyalakan kameranya jika memungkinkan. Terima kasih atas kerjasamanya. Okay, let's get to the next agenda. Our second speaker, Mr. Sid Sundrayut, PhD, Assistant Professor from NIDA International College, Thailand. Before we begin, let me read your CV first, followed by your presentation in 30 minutes. We are honored to introduce Assistant Professor Dr. Sid Sundrayut, who currently serves as the Dean and full-time faculty member at the International College of the National Institute of Development Administration, Thailand. Dr. Sundrayut holds a bachelor's degree in international business and a master's in financial planning from Griffith University, as well as a PhD in public administration from NIDA. His research interests span across business, management and accounting, economics, econometrics, and finance, and the arts and humanities. In addition to his academic pursuits, he has been actively involved in several international professional forums, including the APCE, the APAC, capacity building workshop, regional seminars on derivatives and market supervision hosted by the Asian Development Bank, and a compliance and surveillance course by the Securities Institute. His rich experience and interdisciplinary expertise make him a valuable contributor to today's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we invite our second speaker to share his insight. Dr. Sid, time is yours.
สวัสดีครับ and very good morning to everybody for a very interesting conference. Now, first of all, I would like to thank our organizer, the Universitas Terbuka, for the invitation as a keynote speaker, second keynote speaker, and a special thank to Dr. Martino for providing a lot of the assistance on coming online today. And thank you very much for a very fruitful and very engaging introduction from our moderator. First of all, I would like to thank again for our first speaker, Dr. Sunoidi Jacob, for providing a very good context on the SME and the green economy, and which is very interesting. And I think you have provided a lot of information that providing the connection between the SME and the green economy, and what are the opportunities and challenges that they are facing in today's era. Now, from my perspective, let me share my slide. One moment. Okay, hopefully you can see the slide. Yes.
Yes, I see.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, I did not put the details of the topic that I'm going to present, but I think basically it will be a reflection on the Thai perspective on how do we handle the green economy and sustainability per se. And I think it's, as an international students and international conference, it's a good idea to kind of learn from different perspectives. And I will now I'll use about 20 minutes to talk about the Thai perspective and how do we handle the sustainability and green economy from our side. So let me continue. So again, I think you have already provided a lot of information about my background already, but I graduated from Australia, from the Bachelor of International Business and Master of Financial Planning, and my PhD in Development Administration from my institute, which is called NIDA, which stands for the National Institute of Development Administration, which I will talk about that in a moment. So from my side, I am the Dean of the International College, which is one of the faculties from the institute that I graduated from. So I was honored to be able to study and also work at the same college for many, many years. So that's, we'll talk about that in a moment later on towards the end of the slides. Now, before I start with my presentation today, I'd like to show you two pictures, which is very alarming. The first picture, this is a picture of Bangkok during 2011, about 10 odd years ago. Now, during 2011, we were hit by a huge flood that spread throughout the whole country and including the capital city of Bangkok. And who would know that this modern city was hit by the flood, and everybody, a lot of the people, about 3.6 million people or 3.6 million households got affected by the flood, including myself. Back in the day, in 2011, we were hit by the flood, and the the World Bank estimated that it was 46.5 billion economic losses that happened during those time. Right, and this is very alarming because a lot of cities in Southeast Asia, we are facing pretty much the same problems. Okay, and who knows that the flood will happen again in the next couple of years. So that is the first alarming things that I would like to point everybody out towards this event. The second event, which is currently happening right now in a lot of the Southeast Asian countries, is the PM2.5 problems, or I think some people call it the smog. Now, the PM2.5, I think everybody knows what it stands for. It stands for the dust particles that's smaller than 2.5 microns or less, right? And this problems is created by the traffic, the forest fire, and industrial or factories pollution that's coming from the different countries or different sectors. Again, every year in Thailand, we are facing this during the time around December to March, and the problem is getting worse. In the past couple of years, it's getting more persistent. So basically, before it was once or twice in a year, but now the situation has been prolonged. So sometimes it can last up to about 5 months at a time. And especially in Bangkok, and I think similarly to Jakarta, where we have a lot of traffic and the air is quite condensed, the problems have been expanding much more and more and more. Okay, so that is something that I would like to point out too. So this is something that we experience similarly because we are in the same context of the Southeast Asian country. So what can we do in order to avoid the future problems that we are facing today? Now, one of the things that I would like to point out to is the definition or the meaning of sustainability. And if you have done a lot of the sustainability and read a lot about the sustainability, it's referred to the ability for us to meet the needs on today without compromising the need for the future generation. So that's the whole concept. So with this concept, we need to basically reserve our resources that we are using or consume today and allows the future generation to be able to consume the same resources that are very important for their future. Now, to use this concept, our late king, King Rama IX, talks about this many, many years ago. And the concept was expanded into what is so-called the sufficiency economy philosophy, or SEP. Now, the concept of the SEP is quite simple, right? The concept of SEP is very simple to explain. It's all about living in moderation. We do not want to do something that's too extreme. We do not want to do something that over our own capacities. We do not want to do something that our future generation has to sacrifice, basically. And the concept of the SEP, or sufficiency economy philosophy, rests on the three major components. First is the moderation. Second is reasonableness. And the third one is resilience. The other two important factors is also knowledge and virtuals, which I will explain that in the next slide. So what is SEP is all about? The SEP is all about the three main components. The first one is the moderation. Now, in terms of the moderation, we need to live in the moderation and do not do things too extreme. For example, as an SME, we do not overborrow, overexpand businesses. We do not try to do something that's not our expertise. That's the whole concept of being in moderation. Okay, so no excessive or extreme, finding the balance of all action and decisions. So that's the whole concept. The second one is the reasonableness, making good choice, based on the logic, based on the analysis, based on the consideration of the consequences. So in other words, we need to gather information enough for us to make decision based on what we studied, basically. And the third one is resilient, is to build our own strength and capability to withstand the challenges and unexpected events. So that is the whole concept of the three components. And as I said, we need to do this based on the two major elements, which are the knowledge, which apply academic knowledge or practical knowledge to make our informed decision, and the virtual on acting of honesty and integrity and ethical consideration. So when it comes to the SEP, it's something, it come out to something looking like this. The moderation, the reasonableness, the immunity to oneself based on the knowledge and the virtuals. Now, the reason I was bring this topic up because in the previous government and also this government, the Thai government has been trying to implement what is so-called the SEP into the policy making, into the budgeting, into the regulatory compliances and the law and regulation. And this is important because when we look at when we talk about the growth, people would tend to think that the growth is all about the GDP. The growth is about having enough money, based on per capita, everybody are wealthier in terms of monetary benefits. However, there's a lot of things that we need to go back and look into because the growth is not to measure by just the financial figures. The growth may be, for example, many years ago, people talk about the well-being. People need to be healthy and happy, right? And happiness is also something that people also talked about in terms of measuring the growth of the nation. So this is why the SAP provided that very important elements for the government to reassess whether or not we are going into the right direction in terms of sustainability. So the important concept, for example, that we talked about, the triple bottom line, people, planet, and profit. You cannot only focus on the profit side of your business only, right? At the end of the day, you may pollute the environment, you may hurt a lot of people, and that is not the right way to become sustainable. So therefore, you need to look into people, whether or not your business growth does create the well-being of the people, not just the people within the company or within the firms, but people outside that lives in the same community as well. So that is something that's very important. And the second P is the planet, right? Whether or not our businesses actually polluted or destroy the environment. And again, if you aim for profit, is aim for people, and at the end of the day, your business polluted the planet, that would be no good. Right? So therefore, the triple bottom line is also intended to measure the success of the business without looking at just the financial perspective of the financial perspective of it. Okay, so this is why a lot of the government, including the Thai government, is trying to implement what is so-called the BCG or the BCG economy. Now, the BCG stand for bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy. So all these three elements are combined in order to create the more sustainable business future. So the bioeconomy involves a lot of production renewable of biological resources, the conversion of these resources into the value-added products. So, and again, in other words, reuse and retain all the resources that we have. Circular economy, on the other hand, looking at how do we reuse and recycle all of our resources. And the green economy is helping to make sure that our environment is in balance and support the sustainable development. So this is something that the Thai government have been trying to initiate over the past couple of years by looking at how do we create more bioeconomy. Right? For example, the use of biological resources, the use of solar panels instead of the coal production. How do we make food in the sense that it will not pollute the environment? So that's the first one. The second one is looking at the circular economy, looking at the production and consumption that aims to minimize the waste and maximize the lifespan of our resources. So a lot of reuse component have been implemented in many businesses. And we are not talking about large businesses. We are now talking about smaller businesses trying to engage and getting into in the circular economy. And we have a lot of successful cases that I will probably show you later on as well. And the final one talk about the green economy. The green economy focuses on the sustainable resources, sustainable development, and trying to produce production with low carbon and resource efficient. And this is something that the Thai government is trying to implement. And there are a few of successful cases as well. So what have we done in the past couple of years in order to try to initiate the green economy or BCG economy? So this is exactly what we have done. We have committed to the 20 years national strategy. Over the next coming years in 2050, we are aiming to be one of the countries that has the net zero greenhouse gas emission by 2065. And this is in line with the SDG goals, Sustainable Development Goals, according to the Paris Agreement. And we are committed to achieve the carbon neutrality and the net zero emission by certain time in order to address some of the climate change problems. So this is the we set the goals in order to for everybody to follow in the next few years to come. So this again has been incorporated into our 20 years national strategy, and it was under the constitution that we are aiming for sustainable development and trying to produce the national growth and the economy by using the BCG economy. So this is what we have been committed to. Again, the carbon neutrality by 2050, and Thailand is set to achieve the carbon neutrality by 2050, which is to reduce the emission will be balanced by the equivalent amount of the carbon that we remove from the economy. So this is something that we set the plan for the 2050 and to be the net zero by 2065. And as we mentioned, the Thailand government is also committed to a net zero greenhouse gas emission by 2065, which is also another stepping stone that we are trying to move in order to achieve the sustainability in the future for our future generations. Again, how do we make sure that we can do all this? First of all, the energy plan has been implemented into what is so-called the National Energy Plan 2022. Now, the 2022, the energy plan talks about the goals of carbon neutrality by 2050, and also try to utilize and number of the energy plans. For example, the power development plan, renewable and alternative energy development plan, and energy efficiency plan, in order to create the low carbon neutrality for the energy. And there are a number of things that we do. For example, electric, to increase the amount of new electricity generated from renewable energy. So that's the first one. The second one is to focus on the natural gas and try to use natural gas to promote the natural gas within the country to replace all the, for example, the coal energy consumption. The fuel consumption is also trying to reduce by the introduction of the EV, electric vehicles, and also, fourthly, to increase in terms of renewable energy and energy conservation. So these are the plan that we are initiate to do. So this is a scene that you probably see in Indonesia as well. And a lot of these are becoming very popular in Thailand, that people are getting into EVs. And there are a lot of car brands that are promoting the EV brand. According to the information, I believe that there are about 30% of EVs on roads right now. And they will be soon replaced by most EV cars in the near future. Now, this is a statistic that we are not happy. Thailand is one of the countries that we pollute the ocean the most. And this is something that we're not happy about. So this is another problem that the Thai government is also tackling. by trying to reduce the plastic waste, and we have been successfully done that in the past couple of years. In 2019, we reduced some of the some type of plastics, for example, the microbreads, the additives, and so on. So that was done in 2019, the reduction of those type of plastic. And in 2022, we reduced the use of single-use plastic bags, for example, shopping bags, the plastic glass, the phone box and straw, and so on and so forth. So this is something that we initiate, and I think over the years, it has become very successful in the past couple of years. Another things that we can do in order to increase the effective of our sustainable economy is to have the smart farming and also sustainable farming or sustainable agriculture. So a number of the industry has been implemented in order to create the sustainable agriculture practices, including crop rotations, recycle compost and waste materials, or the integrated pest management methods. So these are some of the examples that we already implemented into the agriculture industry in order to create the new environment. In addition to this, we also talk about the eco-towns, eco-industrial town, or EIT, which is the promotion on how the industry can live amongst people within the society. Now, there are a number of things that they can do in order to increase the eco-towns. For example, looking at the overall perspective, looking at the social structure of people who surrounded the industry, or looking at the management issues around it. Now, of course, there are a lot of challenges and some opportunity. There are four major challenges that we talked about. First is the infrastructure limitation. To increase the renewable energy, we need to have the infrastructure. Obviously, it's not enough right now. But in the future, once the infrastructure is ready, there will be more and more renewable energy consumption. The second one I like to point out to is the investment and funding. Going for green innovation and technology adoption costs a lot of money, and therefore it's a large investment by the government sector and private sector, which still needs a lot of the investment. The third one is the skill labor shortages, and this is something that we discussed over here in Thailand as well, where we have a very high death rate versus low birth rates. And the future generation, again, we will have some problems with the aging society and so on and so forth. So this is something that the government and the private sector need to address. And the most important part, which I see the challenges, is the behavioral change. It's depending on us, depending on the people. And how do people see sustainability? This is the behaviors. And we need to get into it. Everybody need to chip in, everybody need to pay their parts. And again, this will provide it as one of the biggest challenges that everybody in the society. However, there are a lot of opportunities. Many countries in Southeast Asia, including Thailand and Indonesia, can become the green economy leaders. With all the resources that we have, both of the Thailand and Indonesia, or even other countries in Southeast Asia, we can provide some of the leadership and shows other countries in different in different continents that we can achieve this. Secondly, even though we are still in the developing stage, there are a lot of the technological advancement that coming into our way. Digital technology, R&D, and innovation that help to accelerate this transition from the formal economy into green economy. And lastly, the opportunity is about the economic benefits. A lot of this creates a lot of the new economy create jobs and also enhance the competitiveness and looking into the new market opportunity. So with my last couple of slides, I will show some of the example of the companies in Thailand that has some leading sustainability programs. For example, PTT, which is a company that provides the petrochemical and does a lot of investment in the energy consumption industry. PTT initiate a lot of the programs, for example, to revise the industry process to be more green and more sustainable. So this is something that they already implemented. Secondly, the changes of the energy consumption by using a lot of green energies, right, including the solar cells and the wind farmings, for example. And this is something that have been implemented. And the third one is to increase the trees, amount of trees in the countries, within the urban area and also the rural area as well. And they are aiming to have at least about 100 right, 1 million right of trees created, new creation of new trees. So, and also there are smaller businesses that getting into the action as well. For example, this is very small business that trying to grow organic food to provide a lot of the consumers with the organic food. And some of the big names, for example, Toyota and CP, Jura and Pokapan, is also engaging, trying to create the bioenergy from waste, chicken waste, and also food scraps, and create more energy from there. And lastly, I would like to mention a few things because I'm from the National Institute of Development and Administration, and we changed our motto to wisdom for sustainable development. And this is something that NIDA, we are committed to do in the future years to come to create more sustainable development. In according to this, we move in the right direction because we use what is so-called the impact ranking according to the Sustainable Development Goals. And in accordance to the Sustainable Development, we outline a number of successful cases that we have been implementing. For example, the 8 Sustainable Development Goals to have the decent work and economic growth, or the 17 Sustainable Development Goal to have a partnership for the goals, right? So these are the things that we have been trying to implement and trying to measure ourselves or success by using these Sustainable Development Goals. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation, and I'm welcome for any of the questions that you may have. Thank you very much. Khop.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sid Sundrayut, for your insightful and inspiring presentation. Your perspective on a comprehensive overview of Thailand's sustainable effort centered on the sufficiency economy philosophy, or SEP, a development approach initiated by the late King Bhumibol Adulyadej. Sorry. SEP emphasizes moderation, reasonableness, resilience, knowledge, and virtue as guiding principles for balanced and sustainable growth across all levels of society. It have deepened our understanding of how sustainability can be integrated into business strategies for long-term resilience. Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the session with our final speaker. Sorry, Dr. Sid, question and answer after all speaker finish the presentation. Okay. We are now entering the session with our final speaker. While you listen, please prepare your best questions as there will be special gifts for the 2 best participants during the Q&A session. So don't miss the chance to take part and be recognized. Saya izin menggunakan bahasa. Kita telah memasuki sesi pemaparan dari pembicara yang terakhir. Jadi sambil menyimak, silakan siapkan pertanyaan terbaik teman-teman semua. Karena akan ada hadiah menarik untuk 2 penanya terbaik di akhir sesi nanti, di sesi tanya jawab nanti. Okay, let's greet our third speaker. Let me read your CV first, followed by your presentation in 30 minutes. Okay. We are honored to welcome Dr. Faizul Mubarak MM, a lecturer and researcher at the Graduate School Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Terbuka. Holding a doctorate in Islamic Banking and Finance from Universitas Islam Negeri Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta, Dr. Mubarak has extensive academic and professional experience in the fields of financial management, banking and finance, Islamic capital markets, and business strategy. He has also completed an international PhD short course in banking and finance at Université de Limoges, France, and has been actively involved in academic mobility programs across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Dr. Mubarak has served in various academic institutions and has published extensively in nationally and internationally indexed journals, including Scopus and Web of Science. His contributions also include authorship of several academic books in Islamic economics and monetary policy. His strong interdisciplinary expertise and global academic exposure make him a leading voice in advancing sustainable financial practices. Today, he will deliver a timely presentation on green business strategies, building competitive advantage in a sustainable economy. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Faisal Mubarak. Without further ado, we invite our data speaker to share his insight. Dr. Faisal, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ina. Do you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
clearly.
Okay, I will start my presentation. Oh, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished fellow researchers, colleagues, and students. It is an honor for me to stand before you today as a speaker at this conference. I should like to express my deep gratitude to the organized committee for this opportunity and to all of you present, as well as to Speaker 1, Professor Zul, and Speaker 2, Dr. Sid. Today I will present the topic of green business strategies, building competitive advantage in a sustainable economy. How long you give me present? 30 minutes. 30 minutes, okay. I will try this presentation. For this agenda, this session, my name is Faisal Barok. I am from Universitas Terbuka, Master of Management Study Program. For this agenda, 5 agenda for this session. Number 1, why green business matters. Number 2, core principle of green business strategy. Number 3, implementation strategy for green business. Number 4, challenges and opportunity, and the last summary and action point. The first agenda is why green business matter. The situation condition now as a part of effort to understand the importance of sustainable business practice. This chapter begins with a discussion of the main reason why the concept of green business is becoming or increasing relevant urgent in today's global context. The first is environmental impact and resource scarcity. And 2, changing customer preference and awareness. 3, regulatory pressure and ESG requirement. And the last, market differentiation and competitive edge. The first, environmental impact and resource scarcity. A modern business play a significant role in contribute to environmental degradation through activity related to products, production, transportation, consumption, resulting in greenhouse gas emission, air and water pollution, ecosystem destruction, and the depletion of the renewable resources. Industries such as manufacturing, mining, agriculture, and logistics are among the most significant contribute to environmental harm. Carbon emission from industrial process and transformation of all global warming, leading to extreme weather event, rising sea level, and biodiversity loss. The role of business in environmental degradation is increasingly evident as various sectors continue to contribute significantly to ecological instability. Industries such as manufacturing, mining, agriculture, and logistics emit high level of carbon dioxide, exploit land and water resources, and depend heavily on fossil fuel. This interact activity intensive climate change and accelerate the depletion of natural resources, ultimately threatening not only environmental health but also the very sustainability of the business that depend of on the ecosystem. And then in parallel, uh, uh, resource scarcity, res- okay, check, check, good, okay, okay, uh, good, okay, 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 sorry. Okay. In parallel, resource scarcity is emerging as a growing business race. The finite nature of fossil fuel alongside rising geopolitical tension create volatility in energy market. Freshwater resources face pressure from contamination, climate, and climate-introduced change. While essential raw materials such as lithium and cobalt are becoming increasing scarce and contest. This limiting directly impact supply chain reliability. Respond this challenge, the role of green business in addressing environmental and resource challenge has become vital. Green business integrate sustainability into their core strategy by prioritizing pollution reduction, resource efficiency, and the preference of ecosystem. This include transition to renewable energy source such as solar, wind, and biomass, embracing circular economic practice, including recycle and waste minimizing, design eco-friendly, energy efficient product, and investment in clean technology. This action not only mitigation environmental damage, but also align business with the growth expectation of customer and regulation for sustainable practice. As a result, long-term benefit include efficiency, resilience, and financial stability become clear for companies adopting green business by improving resource efficiency. Business can lower operational costs and boost productivity reducing depend of on limited volatile input, enhance supply chain resilience, and product against market disruption. Moreover, sustainability innovation enable business to tap into new market and strengthening their brand image. In this long run, organization that proactive address environmental and resource issue position themselves for greater success in increasingly sustainable driven world. Okay, next slide in changing customer preference and environmental awareness. Over the past few decades, customer preference have undergone a significant transformation driven by rising environmental and social awareness. Millennial and Generation Z, in particular, are playing a key role in reshaping market dynamic by priority values such as sustainability, ethics, and uh, corporate responsibility. These customer segments are not longer solely focused on price and quantity. They are now equal concerned with how products are made, the environmental impact of production, and whether the brand align with a broader social goal. This evolution in mindset the position customer as powerful agent of change, enabling them to influence corporate behavior through their purchasing decision and unwell advocacy. customer as a agent of a change have become a driving for is for force in the Swiss toward more sustainable and ethical business. Today, customer increase um, support brand that align with the value activity of a company associated with environmental harm, labor exploitation, or ethical behavior. With the with the rise of digital platform and social media, customer now have a powerful tool to voice their opinions and share their expectation publicly, rapidly rapidly shaping brand reputation and placing business under growing pressure to act transparently and responsibility. This trend in further reinforced by the willingness to pay a premium sustainable product. Numerous in study, including Nielsen Global Corporate Sustainability Report, reveal that a significant majority of customer, especially millennial, are willing to spend more on product that ethically sourced and environmental friendly. Labels such as organic, cruelty-free, fair trade, and low carbon, and are more just marketing tools. They serve a symbol of trust and authentically that foster brand loyalty and create uh, competitive competitive edge in structural market. In this context, the important transparent authentically and brand integrity cannot be overstated. Modern customer demand variability information about company source, practice, labor, and environmental initiative. Certificate like ISO, ICO, fair trade, EcoCert play a crucial role in validating this claim. Companies that attempt to mislead through greenwashing risk significant reputation damage, loss of customer trust, and widespread um, backlash through online platform and public scrutiny. And ultimately, this customer-driven transformation is unlocking business opportunity and sustainable-driven innovation. To meet rising expectation, company, sorry, to meet rising expectation, companies are redesigning product and service to reduce their ecological footprint and resonate with conscious customer. From recycled material and apparel, plastic-free packaging to paperless digital solution and carbon front tracking. Business are embracing innovation as a path to sustainability. And then regulatory pressure and ESG requirement. Invest in the face of escalating climate change, environmental degradation, and global justice movement, business are increasingly being held accountable through tighter regulation, rising expectations surrounding environmental, social, governance, or ESG performance. Governance and international bodies are implementing to more stringent legal framework that compel companies to operate sustainable and transparently, while investors are embedding ESG metrics into their core financial assessment. Number one is strict environmental and sustainable regulation are increasingly shaping the global business landscape. Governance and regulatory bodies are enforcement comprehensive environmental policy and mandate tangible and measurable uh, sustainable effort from companies. These include carbon emission limit aligned with global climate agreements such as the Paris Agreement, as well as mandatory disclosure on energy and water usage was management and the handling of hazardous material. Economic instruments such as carbon tax and then and cap and trade system create financial incentive for low emission operation while penalizing a polluter. Additionally, ban on harmful substance like single-use plastic, mercury, and lead are being implemented to safeguard public health and biodiversity. And then business that fail to comply face several consequences ranging from legal penalties and business license revocation to operational shutdown and reputational damage. In tandem, ESG as a strategy imperative for investment is reshaping the criteria by which financial market evaluation corporate finance. ESG metric have become central to investment decision by major institutional players including pension fund, sovereign wealth, sovereign wealth fund, and global banks. Companies with weak ESG record are previous high risk due potential legal liability, public backlash, and vulnerable to climate-related disruption. And then supporting this trend, stock exchange requirement and ESG transparent have gained prominence. Stock market worldwide mandate greater business disclosure. The Indonesia Stock Exchange or EDX, for instance, now require public companies to sustainable report in the line OJK regulation. Global exchange such as New York Stock Exchange and the London Stock Exchange promote adoption international standard, including global report initiative and sustainable accounting standard. Leading corporates such as maybe Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla regularly release detailed ESG report, trebly enhancing transparent and demonstrating their commitment to sustainable development. Consequently, ESG resource a long-term competitive advantage is becoming undeniable. ESG is not longer merely a regular checklist or public relation effort, and it is a critical driver of strategic value. By embedding ESG into their core operation, company not only improve risk management but also stimulate innovation, strengthen stakeholder relationship, and increase resilience in volatile market. In contrast, those who neglect ESG consideration risk, losing relevant and competitive in world increasingly focus on sustainability. As business navigating this new era, ESG integrating is emerging as a crucial factor in the determining long-term long-term success and sustainability. And sustainable corporate. And then market differentiation and competitive advantage. In increasing competitive and dynamic business and from market differentiation has become essential for maintaining relevance and achieving a competitive edge. One of the most effective strategy for creating this differentiation is by embracing sustainability. Companies that commit to environmental ally and socially responsible practice not only fulfill ethical obligation but also create a unique value proposition in the eyes of a customer stakeholder. Attracting the environmental conscious customer segment has become a key strategy for a modern business as a millennial and generation Z, who are highly attuned to environmental and social issues are reshaping customer behavior. These demographic prefer brands that are genuinely commit to sustainability and ethical practice, gravitating toward eco-friendly and conduct made from recycled material free from harm, chemical or certificate organic. Driving sustainable, this shift in customer preference has also encouraged companies to focus on driving sustainable innovation across their operation. Green business continues seek improvement in product design, manufacturing, packaging, and distribution. Innovations such as biodegradable material, renewable energy, and energy efficiency technology reduce environmental impact while also lowering operating costs. Beyond product and process innovation, sustainability effort contribute significant to building long-term relationship between customer mm, and business partner, and then until ultimately this effort um, culminate in enhancing brand differentiation and corporate image. Position companies as a leader is a responsible practice, a reputation for sustainable not only elevate brand equity but also allow firm to compete to value rather than price alone. As many customers are willing to pay a premium for product that align with their ethical and environmental concern. A strong sustainability profile become a source of lasting competitive advantage. In this way, integrating sustainability into the core of business strategy support long-term growth while reinforcing corporate integrity and public trust. Number two is core principle of green business strategy. One of fundamental principle of green strategy is energy efficiency and low carbon operation. A strategy approach that aims reduce energy consumption, minimize greenhouse gas emission across all business activity. Choose business play a crucial role in mitigation climate change. To implement this principle, companies typically begin by conducting a comprehensive energy audit, which involves analyzing how energy is consumed across different department operation. A core element of energy efficiency is adopting of energy efficiency technology, and then this include upgrading lighting system to LED, installing smart thermostat, and building automatic system. And then, uh, in parallel, many organizations are transitioning to renewable energy source to power their operation. This may involve installing solar panel, forecasting green energy from utility providers, or investing in off-site renewable energy projects such as wind farm or hydroelectric system. Another significant strategy is optimizing logistic and transportation system. This include redesigning supply route to reduce travel distance using route optimizing software and gradual shifting to low emission or electric vehicle for delivery and fleet operation. Finally, beyond the operational and environmental benefit, applying this principle enhance to company reputation and stakeholder trust. Customer, investor, and regulation are increasingly scrutinizing companies' environmental performance. uh, Waste reduction and circular economy. Uh, Waste reduction and circular economy form a core principle of green business strategy, offering a transformative alternative to traditional linear take make a dispose model. Instead, this regenerative closed loop system embed sustainability every stage of the product lives cycle by focus on reducing, reusing, recycle, and generating resources. This begins with design for sustainability and longevity, where business embrace eco-design principle to create durable modular repair product by enable easy maintenance, upgrade, and asset and disability. Companies reduce the need for the frequent replacement, promoting extended product lifespan, and providing a customer with more sustainable and cost-effective option. Integral to this model is it use of sustainable recycle material, where organizing increasing rarely on renewable, biodegradable, or recycle input rather than virgin non-renewable resources. Support this effort efficient and smart was the management system, which priority reducing was the at the source and reintegrating usable material into product cycle. This might involve reducing manufacturing scrap, digitalizing workflow to minimize paper waste, and or implementation office-wide recycle program. It's contributing to lower environmental food and higher resource productivity. To close the loop, further reverse logistic and product tech back program are critical in bringing used product by to the producer for refurbishment, recycle and repurposing and or repurposing. Initiative such as electronic trade in or furniture refurbish scam enable companies to extend product life cycle and recover valuable material. On more systemic level, industrial symbiosis resource sharing foster collaboration across industry, allowing one company buy product to become another input. Notable example is Bevering supplying spent grain to nearby farm. Thereby, reducing land use, maximal local resources efficiency, through inter-business cooperation. Increasingly, digital technologies such as blockchain, AI, and Internet of Things are empowering business to enhance traceability, perform predictive maintenance, and optimize resource flow. Lastly, the regulation of natural system goes beyond minimizing harm by actively restoring ecosystem. Companies are adopting regenerative agricultural practice and utilizing compostable packaging to enhance soil health and biodiversity. Thereby, reconnecting the loop between production, consumption, and environmental renewal. Together, there's an interconnected strategy and exemplify uh, how the circular economy can drive both ecological sustainability and business resilience. And then sustainable supply chain. Sustainable supply chain are cornerstone of a green business strategy focused on the integrating of environmental, social, and governance principle throughout every stage of the value chain, from raw material sourcing to the delivery of final product. The the aim is to establish a supply network that are not only economically efficient but also environmentally sound and socially just, ensuring that all entities involved are there to sustainability and ethical standard. At the foundation lies the responsible source or material of raw material, where companies prioritizing input that are renewable, recycled, ethical, obtained, or certified by recognizing standards such as forest steward council for timber and fair trade for agriculture. And then, for instance, coffee brand partnering with fair trade cooperative promote but ecological steward and fair labor conditional of for farmer. Equally important is supply selection and evaluation, which assure that all partner in the supply chain adhere to strict sustainability criteria. Additionally, it assure compliance with the supplier code of conduct that addressing emission, labor right, waste disposal, and anti-corruption. To main control and accountability across globalized and complex supply network, transparency and traceability are critical. Technology such as blockchain uh, enable companies to track the origin, movement, and environmental impact of material and product. Blockchain in particular provide immutable record that ensure compliance with sustainability standards, support accurate ESG reporting, and enhance customer trust, verify ethical search. Um, Moreover, labor and human rights protection must be embedded across the supply chain to prevent exploitation practice, including child labor, forced labor, and safe working environment. Extending sustainable effort into logistic, green logistic, and transportation focus on reducing carbon emission and operational loss. Business employ strategies such as route optimizing, shipment consolidation, and transition to electric to or fuel efficiency vehicle. Warehouses are increasing power by renewable energy and equipped with intelligent inventory system that reduce waste and energy consumption. Finally, collaboration and supplier development mark a transition for mark a transition from mere compliance to value-driven partnership. Leading companies invest in supply training, collaborative innovation, and access to green technology to help smaller partner implement sustainable practice. Uh, okay, 5 minutes left. Maybe okay. I direct to challenge and opportunity. Okay. Challenge and opportunity related to implementation green business strategy. Challenges. One of the primary challenges companies face when adopting green business strategy in the initial cost and investment barrier. Transition to energy efficient, technology renewable energy system, or sustainable material often require sustainable upfront and investing in capital. Small and medium enterprise may find this cost prohibit without access financing or subsidies. Additionally, the return on investment can sometimes take years to material, which discourage business focus on short-term financial performance. Another significant challenge is the lack of green infrastructure. In many regions, especially in developing countries, supporting infrastructure such as renewable energy grids, recycling facility, and eco-friendly supply chain is either insufficient, and this limitation can hinder the practical implementation of sustainability initiative, reduce the efficiency of green technology. Furthermore, organizational resistance to change can impact green transformation. Employee and management might be reluctant to alter established process, workflow, and process practice due to conflict with status quo. Uh, for opportunities, despite the challenge, green business strategy offer numerous compelling opportunity. Only one of the most promising is the access to new market segment. As customer and business become increasingly environmentally conscious, demand for sustainable product and service continues to grow. Implementing a green business strategy also enhance brand value and customer loyalty. Modern business increasing favor brand that demonstrating social environmental responsibility. Moreover, business can benefit from partnership and governance incentive that support a green initiative. Many governments worldwide offer tax credit, grant, or subsidies to companies that adopt renewable energy reduce waste and or improve resource efficiency. And then summary. Um, Green strategy are essential for creating long-term value and resilience in today's dynamic and often unpredictable global market. By integrating sustainability into their core business operation, companies can reduce the risk associated with resource scarcity, regulatory change, and shifting customer preference. This proactive approach not only reduce operational costs through efficiency gain, but also enhance the organization ability to adapt environmental and economic challenge, ensure business continuity and competitive advantage over time. Importantly, sustainable is not merely a passing trend, but fundamental business imperative. As governance worldwide tighten environmental regulation and stakeholder include a customer, investor, and employee, increasing demand responsible practice sustainability has become a central component of corporate strategy. At the heart, successful green transformation are innovation and leadership. Innovation drive the development of new green products, services, business model that meet environmental standard and customer expectation. And ultimately, it is essential to acknowledge that every business, regarding of its size or industry, can contribute to greener economic sustainability effort need not be grand or costly to make an impact. Even small change such as reducing energy use, minimizing waste, or choosing sustainable supplier collective drives significant environmental benefit. And the last call to action for everyone: let's build a green future together. Start your green transformation today. Do not wait for regulation or competitor to lead the way. Take the initiative, conduct an environmental audit, set measurable sustainability goal, engage your team, and leverage available resource and partnership to support your transition. The tool, technology, and knowledge exist. What is needed is the commitment to change. Together, we can create cleaner, more sustainability, and more worth. The green economy is not just the further; it starts with you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Faizul Mubarak, MM, for your insightful and thought-provoking presentation on green business strategies building competitive advantage in a sustainable economy. Your perspective have certainly enriched our understanding of sustainable practices in today's business landscape. Challenges and opportunity in a green economy. Also, the essential is every business can contribute to a greener economy. So we can start with ourselves first. Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay. We move to the the Q&A session. Thank you to all speakers for those enlightening presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we've moved to the Q&A or discussion session. This session will be divided into 2 rounds, with each round accommodating up to 3 questions. In the interest of engagement, we will prioritize participants who wish to ask their questions directly via open mic. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand using the raise hand feature, and we will invite you to open mic. Okay, there are 2 participants who raise hand. Please open your mic for user Roser Putratama. And don't forget to mention to whom your question addresses, and don't forget to introduce yourself, especially your business activity soon.
Thank you for the opportunity. And then my name is Roser Putratama. I'm from Universitas Negeri Semarang. In My question is for our speaker maybe because their time is maybe in the same locus. So my question is, in my opinion, most green economy policies are mostly led by the developed countries. So my question, what is your opinion for the speaker, especially for the speaker, what developing countries can do considering their limited resources and technology to follow these standards, green economy, while their country still focus for fast economic growth? That is my first question. And the second question is, and how can they consist when the government policies often changes? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions, Mr. Razar. Maybe the questions for all the speakers directly to our speakers first. Maybe for Zulnaidi Yaakob, can you answer first for the question? There are two questions, Prof. First about how to strategy in a development country to implement the strategy on green economy, because our country, like a developed country, is focused on growth the infrastructure. And the second is how can consist about role model develop to green economy and sustainability.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Mr. Rosa, and thank you also to the chairperson. Regarding the implementation and the participations in green economy, I would love to say that there is a responsibility of all citizens globally. It doesn't matter either you are from developed nations or developing nations, these are our responsibilities. So when we're talking about how can we contribute, how do we contribute to the agenda of green economy, again, we cannot rely on government only. Maybe in certain countries, there are countries with already very solid, very strong fundamentals in terms of governance, in terms of regulation, and in terms of procedure, where in certain things, when, for example, for business operation or business entity, they don't have options. They need to follow because regulation is already there. But it doesn't mean that in countries where the regulation is not established yet, where the regulation is still in the progress, it doesn't mean that small medium enterprise should take for granted or in people individually. So it needs to be self-responsible for the business as well to follow or to participate in green economy. Again, we are in the global and open market. In other words, the boundary of a country is only for it's only a regulatory border. In other words, even you have your business in Indonesia, your market perhaps beyond Indonesia, your customer perhaps in Malaysia, in Europe or in East Asia. And once the global economy, a green economy is a global practices, so wherever you stay, you need to contribute and adhere to these practices. For example, let's say I'm from Malaysia, and I would love to buy a product from another country, and the product does not, very harmful. It's not it's not health it's not healthy. It's not contributing to the green agenda. Perhaps I would consider to buy that product without checking either the product is coming from country where there is green rules, regulation, practices, policy is there or not. Okay, so again, personally, I feel that when it comes to green practices, yes, for certain country, developed nation, they have a very solid and strong rules and regulation. But for those who are in a country where uh, the regulation is not there, there is still self-responsibility, individually and also for business, for small media enterprise, to have a concern about our responsibility towards our planet. Uh, uh, this is really a self-awareness where you have awareness that you need to have responsible, where you need to be responsible in whatever you do. You would perhaps checking your routine, your attitude, your behavior, that anything that uh, reversely negatively impact environment, then you would consider to revisit that practices. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Professor. It's enough for first speaker, and go to second speaker. Dr. Zid Sundrayut, are you there? Dr. Sid? Or maybe we move to the third speaker for answer the question. Dr. Faisal Mubarak, can you answer first?
Okay, I will try to answer the question. Mr. I don't know what his name.
Rozar.
Okay, Mr. Rozar. Okay, thank you
Rozar.
for your question. Okay, I will the example Indonesia. Indonesia as a developing country with limited natural resources, I think, has recognizing the urgency of a transition to a green economy to ensure sustainable and inclusive growth. Uh, this transformation is driven by dual pressure of environmental degradation and the need for economic resilience in the face of climate change. The Indonesia government has embedded green economic principle into the national development agenda. Uh, this For example, particular track the National Medium-Term Development Plan or RPGMN 2020 until 2024 and draft National Long-Term Development Plan RPGPN 2025 until 2045. This plan implies low carbon development, climate resilience, and sustainable infrastructure as a key pillar of economic transformation. Strategically, Indonesia focus on several core area. First, it it is promoting low carbon development by integrating emission reduction target into sector policy, especially in energy, transportation, and land use. Second, the government in investing in green infrastructure such as renewable energy project and sustainable urban transport system to reduce dependency on fossil fuel and improve environmental quality. Third, Indonesia is enhancing human capital through education and training program that prepare the workforce for a green job, particularly in renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and water management. To support this strategy, Indonesia has develop a green economy index, which track progress across economic, environmental, and social dimension. While the index saw a positive trend, environmental pillar remain the weakest, regularly due the low share of renewable in energy mix, ongoing degradation ecosystem like petroleum. On the regulatory front, Indonesia has implementation several key framework. The long-term strategy for low carbon climate and climate change 2025 2050 outlines a roadmap to achieve net zero emission by 2060 or earlier, balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability. Um, Additionally, the government is reforming subsidies to pass out support for fossil fuel and redirect fund toward clean energy and conservation effort. Environmental impact assessing are mandatory for a major project, and there is emphasis on sustainable public procurement. And in summary, Indonesia approach to green economy development in comprehensive, combining strategic planning, regulatory reform, and multi-stakeholder collaboration. While challenges remain, particular in environmental government and renewable energy adoption, the country is making steady progress toward sustainable and resilient economic future. Thank you. That's it for my answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Faizul. Okay, for Dr. Sid, due to some technical issue with the device, we would like to check if your device is able to unmute.
Yes, I'm not sure that
Okay.
you can hear me. Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you. Okay,
Okay.
please kindly proceed to answer the question, sir.
Okay, sorry, my camera is not working right now because I'm on another device. But
okay.
basically, I think the question is asking about whether or not the most of the policies coming from most of the developed countries can be applied to our developing nations. The answer is yes, because when you're looking at the consequences of unsustainability business practices, it hurts our economy even more than the developed countries. So that is one thing. Another thing is it's very important to recognize that policy provided a very blunted instrument to to the nations. So therefore, my suggestion that what we can do is to use the policies that have been has been successful in developed countries and implemented in our developing nations. In addition to this, I think we can highlight some of the important elements. For example, I talked about the triple bottom line, where we talk about the people, planet, and profit. Previously, we talked about the profitability, but the policy can, for example, the policy in developing nation can focus in the area of people or even planet. That is something that we can do. So in other words, we can use the policies that have been provided as a guideline and implement our own, specialties or implemented our own specification towards those kind of policies, and it would work for, our developing nation. So that's my response. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your answer, Dr. Sid. Next to the next participant who raised hand is Muhammad Fikram. Okay, are you ready? Can you mention address to speakers your question, and don't forget to mention your identity. Thank you very much. Open your mic, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I want to make sure my voice is. Can you hear me clearly? Anyone can hear me, or something
Yes, of
trouble in my
course.
voice?
Yes, clearly I can hear.
Right. Thank you so
Okay.
much. I want to introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Fikram Pratama from Economic and Business Faculty, Universitas Tridinanti, Palembang. I want to asking about promote this green economic program or green economy business because we already know after the explanation of these speakers, we already know about how difficult was and how many complexity challenges we facing to making a good green economic program or the green economic business, like a material, cost, technology, and many more. How to make sure we can convince more people, more investment, or more institution can make a green economic program or green economic business together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the great question. So your question is for all the speakers, right? Okay. Maybe first for Professor Dr. Zanadi Yaakob for the question. Please kindly answer, Prof.
Thank you, Muhammad Fikram, for your question. Uh, you asking about what is the best strategy to encourage people to participate in green economy. Am I right? Hello, Mr.
Mr. Fikram, can you hear?
Pratram?
Muhammad Fikram, can you hear about the question from the speakers? we want to make sure. Oh,
Okay.
so
Uh,
maybe international.
okay. So, in order to encourage more people individually or institutionally to participate in green economy, then I would suggest that we look at the pull and push factor. Why people do this and why people are not doing this. For example, regulation, new rules and framework perhaps we have an impact on the way people do things. For example, by institutionalize new rules and regulation where business need to comply to new rules and regulation, then it will have an impact. They will change the how the business do their operation, and indirectly or directly we have influence on the impact of green agenda. At the same time, we need not only to develop rules, regulation, and also punish people for not doing this thing. At the same time, there is a policy that should encourage people to do this. For example, perhaps government should introduce incentive related to tax, provide more education, educating people, provide more support in terms of policy, uh, providing, for example, financial incentive or special loan related to green practices or green product. So by having this combination, uh, positive steps or strategy to encourage people to do more, and also um, not so called positive, but by introducing rules, regulation, uh, to to stop people or to reduce the possibility of non-compliance to green economy, then I would see this combination would have a good impact for the directions in future to see more people give more commitments and contributing to the green economy agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Zul. So move to the next speakers. Dr. Sid, are you here? Can you hear
Yes,
my face? Okay.
yes, thank you.
Please kindly answer. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think the question is about the challenges and how do we try to implement the policies. I think I have to put it this way: to be green, it costs money, and the cost is phenomenon. I think some even estimate the cost of being green is 50% more than the traditional businesses. So my recommendation is that this comes down to creating the awareness. And I can give you an example. In the past, when Thailand is trying to implement the policy of trying to reduce the use of single-use plastic, a lot of people were against it. But now everybody become aware, and this kind of awareness is increasing more and more and more. So so honestly, I think it takes time, and it takes a lot of the um, awareness by a lot of people to make things happen. So that's how I would want to put it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sid. Next to move to Dr. Faizul. Please kindly answer the question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for the question. I think sample from Indonesia. A green economy program in Indonesia represent a strategic shift towards sustainable development, aiming to balance economic growth with environmental preservation and social equity. Social equity. These programs are often initiated by governments and supported by international organizations, focusing on areas such as renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and then maybe waste management and climate resilience. For example, Indonesia commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emission in reflect in its national determined contribution under the Paris Agreement, which include expanding the use of solar and geothermal energy, promoting electric vehicle, restoring degraded peatland and mangrove. Program like the low carbon development initiative also illustrate Indonesia effort to integrate sustainable into national planning. And then on the business side, green economy enterprise in Indonesia are emerging across various sector. Companies are increasingly adopting eco-friendly practice such as producing biodegradable packaging, investing in clean energy technology, and developing sustainable tourism model. Startup like choose in the electrical vehicle industry or organic farming are gain traction, supported by both governments initiation and growing customer awareness. The biggest challenge for a green economic program in Indonesia lies in policy consistent and coordination across different level of governance. Frequent change in leadership and priority can disrupt long-term sustainability goal. And then additionally, public awareness and education about environmental issue remain limited, which affect the effectiveness of this program. Um, for business, the main hurdles include customer behavior that still favor cheaper, less sustainable product and regulatory complexity that can slow down innovation. Despite the challenge, the green economy in Indonesia holds a great potential, especially if support by a strong policy framework, public-private partnership, and increasing investment in the green technology. That's it for my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Dr. Faizul Mubarak. Now we move to the next participant questions. Please open mic, Nico David L. Tobing. Yes. Please mention to whom address your question and don't forget to introduce yourself first. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to address my question to Mr. Sid. Mr. Sid, I saw it so interesting how the sufficiency economy philosophy or SEP works. I mean the moderation, avoiding excess, avoiding extremes of consumption and ambition, and the reasonableness and the self-immunity. Uh, does that SEP need a certain level of, shall I say, the civilization or economical level to get this SEP system to work? Can we apply that in Indonesia? Considering the increasing pressure for the SMEs to adopt green practices, how can the SEP help balance environmental responsibility with financial survival, especially for SMEs in emerging markets like Indonesia? That would be all. Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Directly to Dr. Sid, please kindly answer.
Yes, thank you for the question. And it's a very interesting question that you talked about the SEP as well. I have to say that SEP was initially created for people with disadvantage. Now, I have to put it this way because the SEP was created when, people with poorer family, for example, they need to try to use the resources that they have more efficient. Now, SEP, the hard and solve the SEP is not about how to stay where you are, but the SEP is trying to say that you know your limitation, you know your capability, and try to use those limitation and capability in order to bring into the future prospect. So therefore, definitely, I think we can talk about the SEP and how to apply the SEP in different type of economy, especially Indonesia, where I think the component is similarly to the Thailand, where we have the differences in terms of the differences in terms of the economy with people. So therefore, I would suggest, highly suggest, to look into the major component of the SEP, and how do we efficiently use the resources in order to maximize the capability of the things that we have, and that will be the next stepping stone into the future development. Thank you. I hope I answered your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Yeah, for the next session, I'm sorry because due the time, before we continue, as I mentioned a bit earlier, we apologize, but for this first round of the Q&A session, we will limit the opportunity to the first three participants who have raised their hands. So thank you for your understanding. Izinkan dengan bahasa karena terbatas, jadi kita hanya mempersilakan 3 penanya untuk yang raise hand. Jadi mohon maaf kepada teman-teman yang sudah raise hand, karena kami akan beralih ke pertanyaan yang ada chat room. Okay, now let us move on to the questions submitted in the chat room. Several questions have already been thoughtfully answered by Dr. Sid in the chat room. We truly appreciate his responsiveness and engagement. Thank you very much, Dr. Sid. Okay, may I kindly ask the committee to display the list of questions submitted in the chat room? Please, the committee. Okay, thank you. This is first question from the chat room from Faula Ainun Nafisa to Mr. Faisal and Dr. Prof. Zunaidi. Excuse me, my name Faula Ainun Nafisa from Universitas Negeri Semarang. I would like to ask a question regarding consumer behavior and sustainability. In your opinion, should consumers will be willing to pay more for products from companies that invest in sustainable practices? Thank you. Okay, maybe first we can to Mr. Faisal to answer, please kindly. First, thank you. Okay, Dr. Faisal.
Check. Hello.
Okay, clearly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question. Faula Ainun Nafisa from Universitas Negeri Semarang. That's a thoughtful, important question. Whether customers should be willing to pay more for a sustainable product, good touch of on ethic, economic, and personal value. And the number one is ethical responsibility. Many argue the customer have a moral obligation to support companies that prioritize sustainable. These companies often reduce environmental harm, which lower carbon emission or less waste, and then treat a worker fairly and ethical, and invest in a long-term ecological health. Paying more can be seen a way to support this positive outcome. And number two, economic trade-off. Sustainable practice often come with higher cost material, better material, fair wage, and cleaner technology. If customers are willing to pay more, it create market incentive for companies to adopt sustainable practice, and then it help scale sustainable innovation, potentially lowering costs over time. However, not all customer can afford to pay more, which rising with a rise issue of accessibility and equity. And number three, customer awareness and trust. For customers to make informed choice, the need clear labeling and transparency about sustainability claim. Trust that companies are genuinely committed, not just green washing. And the last, number four, long-term value. Sustainable product often last longer or held higher or offer better performance. So while the upfront cost might be higher, the long-term value can justify the price. In summary, yes, ideally customers should be willingness to pay for a sustainable product if they can afford it, and if the sustainability claim are credible. This help drive a systemic change toward a more responsible and resilient economics. That's it my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Faisal. Next, move to the Professor Dr. Zunaidi Yaakob. Please kindly to answer, Prof. Maybe can the committee display again the question of participant?
Thank you to Inda for
Mm-mm.
sharing this discussion. Okay.
Yes.
Um, People not pay for the product, but people pay for the value. When you subscribe to any product or services, actually we are paying for the value, what we believe in that product. For example, if you believe that product is really good, then you will pay. So I think the first step is, again, is not a producing product and asking people to buy product at higher price or lower price. Uh, High and low, it is more about perspective. Even though that we can you know m- uh, s- we can say uh, $5, perhaps $5 is more expensive than $3. But then again, it depends to the how people or how customer perceive that $5 versus $3. Uh, for example, sometimes people or customer willing to pay high to a product that give them prestige, and they are not willing to pay the same price for the product that do not give them the same prestige. I give you an example. When you buy drink at a small uh, cafe or canteen, compared to you buy the same uh, the similar drinks at lifestyle restaurant or hotels, perhaps you're willing to pay more because you believe in the value that can bring together with that product. So the same when it comes to green product. If consumer or customer believe the green product actually is a responsibility of the user, consumer, and customer, uh, um, contributing or helping, protecting environment, then the issue is not about paying more. The issue is about how strong the fundamental belief of the customer that the value bring together with the product is something that meaningful to the customer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor, for the answer. We move to the next question from the chat room. Please kindly the committee to display the list of questions. Okay, from Vincent Spento to Mr. Sid Sundrayut. I'm interested in the three issues mentioned earlier by Mr. Sid Sundrayut, PhD, namely bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy. Of course, all three of these concepts will ultimately be implemented by humans or communities. In our opinion, there needs to be continuous efforts to raise awareness and socialize these ideas so that they eventually become habits, a culture, and a shared consciousness. What do you think about this, Mr. Sid? We would appreciate your explanation. Thank you. Okay, please kindly, Mr. Sid Sundrayut, to proceed answer the question. Are you there, Dr. Sid? Oh, I think Dr. Sid has been left from this Zoom, so maybe these questions will be sent to his email, so you can see at the chat box the email address from Dr. Sid. We apologize for this. Thank you. So for the committee, we move to the next question. Please kindly display. Okay, from Sastaviana Yulianga to Dr. Zulniadi Yaakob, thank you for your insightful presentation. I'm Sasta from Universitas Terbuka. I ask about your perspective on how financial institution, or even policymakers assist the companies to implementing green practices today? Because some comments on the internet say that green accounting is just a compliance matters. Okay, please to Dr. Zulniadi Yaakob to proceed the answer.
Thank you to the SASTA for this question.
Okay.
Um, when it comes to practice, some practices or our behavior actually coming from our culture or our belief. For example, from parents to their children, you have to do this, you have to practice this. So you learn, you have learned this from your, during your young days. So it becomes your natural to practice. For example, when your mother or father asks you, don't throw rubbish everywhere, you have to keep this, you have to keep clean the area, then if it is already in you from your very young days. So, but again, the green practices maybe has been embraced by some business operation, business entity, but for some, they are waiting for rules and regulation. So that's the rule of rules and regulation. The commitment of government towards sustainability agenda, for example, require governments to introduce rules and regulation, including in accounting, where there is a professional bodies for accounting to impose all the members uh, uh, rules and regulation in terms of green reporting, for example. I think, yeah, some people will follow because uh, uh, they love to follow. Some people, some organization, they follow because they have no choice to follow, but they have to follow. So to me, this is not an issue. Either it is just a compliance where business follow and comply to the rules. In future, it will be improved to a better situation, perhaps because of the awareness, because of the employee that have been trained previously in the university. When they enter a company and firm, green agenda is already in him or in her. So there is no, there is not a serious, it's okay for some company just to follow the rules and regulation, but hopefully perhaps it's going to be more on self awareness or self uh, um, uh, self action towards green practices. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Prof. Uh, Due to time constraints, we hope that the answers provided have addressed it of all of the participants' questions sufficiently and clearly. Okay, thank you once again to our distinguished speaker for the insightful presentation and to all participants for the engaging discussion. We have now come to the final part of the session. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation to our speaker. The certificate will be given by Vice Dean for Academic Affairs of Faculty Economic and Business Universitas Terbuka, Mrs. Dr. Kurnia Endahriana, SEMCom. We invite you to give awards to the speakers. Okay. 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 We start from first speaker to Associate Professor Dr. Zulniadi Yaakob, PhD. Kindly please Ibu Riana to give it symbolically. Please committed to share the certificate. Okay. Thank you very much for the participant to be speaker today, Professor Zulniadi Yaakob. Ibu Riana, maybe can you speak for this?
Thank you, Prof. I think
And I think this is not the last
You can attend here.
Okay, thank you, Bu Riana. Next, for the next speaker, Dr. Faizul Mubarak, MM. Kindly please, Ibu Riana, to give it symbolically.
Thank you, Pak Faizul. It's presentation, and I think we will have more conference.
Thank you.
You.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Riana. Due to the internet connection unstable, maybe Dr. Sid Sundrayut cannot join again with this Zoom. As mentioned before, Dr. Sid have a trouble with his device. So maybe for the certificate, we'll continue to show the certificate. Please commit. Okay, thank you, Dr. Sid. So thank you so much for Ibu Riana for your time. With that, we conclude this session. We hope the ideas shared today will continue to inspire actions toward a more sustainable and inclusive future. And now, please give applause for the speakers and for you all. Thank you. So see you all later and thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I over to MC for the next agenda.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Inder. Before that, for participants, please fill in the feedback link provided. Thank you. Untuk peserta, silahkan mengisi link feedback yang sudah disediakan. Selanjutnya untuk penanya terbaik, yang terpilih adalah yang pertama Niko David L. Tobing, dan yang kedua adalah Sastaviana Yuliangga. Silakan untuk menghubungi panitia. Dan diingatkan untuk join ke breakout room sesuai dengan waktu yang ditentukan. Okay, next, to express our gratitude, we would like to present a token for appreciation to our moderator. Kindly please, Mrs. Bekti, to give the certificate. Please accept our heartfelt thanks for your contribution to ISCBE 2025.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Inder Fauzia Ova, for become moderator in this event. Thank you so much for your dedication.
You're welcome.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after the panel session finish, the next agenda is break. But before break, I would like to explain about breakout rooms instructions for all participants who are going to present this paper in the parallel sessions later. Here is the breakout room instruction. There are two devices you can use to present your paper: through your laptop or personal computer and through your phone. Parallel sessions are going to begin at 1 p.m. and we wish all of presenters are going inside breakout rooms before 1 p.m. Now, it's time to take a break. Thank you for your attention. See you on the parallel sessions and good luck for all presenters. In bahasa, Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman partisipan, setelah sesi seminar, silakan tetap mengikuti sesi paralel yang akan dimulai pada pukul 12.45. Caranya dengan memilih breakout room, bergabung dengan ruangan yang sesuai dan telah diinformasikan oleh panitia. Sekali lagi diinfokan, untuk Bapak dan Ibu silakan bergabung ke dalam breakout room sesuai dengan ruangan yang diinformasikan oleh panitia. Dan kami menginformasikan setelah selesai paparan, silakan kembali lagi ke main room. Terima kasih dan sampai jumpa pada sesi breakout room.